Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to understand how to create a poster. So, I am going to create a poster to raise awareness about the wildlife, and we'll also learn to create some new design styles, and we'll see how we are going to create them. So at the very beginning, I'm going to begin taking an A4 canvas size. You can read it out here in Gravit. On that, the first thing which I want to do is I want to insert some of the elements, external elements to be say precise, which I want to use as a reference. So in this poster, I'm going to include some of the annual designs. Now you can see that these are the images, but Gravit is a vector software. So what is the relation, what is the use of an image, which is a raster graphics in the vector design software? What we can do is actually, we can take an image and we can import into the Gravit if we want to create that shape on our own. So for example, if I want to include this earth image, I can go to the file and then I can go to the import, place image, select the image and open up. And there you go, it's an image icon, you can understand easily. If I zoom it, it will show that it is getting blur or pixelated. Another way to import an image is very simple, that we can simply drag the image, take to the browser and drop on our canvas. So once I have taken the image, once I have imported the image, I can use this as a reference. Maybe I can lock this in the layer so that it remains stationary here, and then using the pen tool or maybe any other tool, I can trace the earth image out over here. Let's understand, before that, let's understand one more thing which makes our job easier. Let's say if we are in hurry and if we want to, really take the design out of the reference image. So what we can do here is, let's unlock this for the while. Yeah, select it up and I can go to the modify menu and then I go to the path and there I have this option vectorize image. Now we need to understand that it is going to convert this image to a vector design. All right. Make sure that the image is the one object which is selected. Otherwise, this option will not be highlighted, or that the element also should be selected. All right. So if the image is not selected, this option will not be highlighted. So make sure to select the image and then from there path, you can choose this option vectorize image, and it might take some time to process. So there we go. All right. So we can see now that this has transformed from an image to a group of n number of shapes. So let's reduce its size, and if I zoom in, now you can see it is not getting pixelated. So basically what Gravit does is, whatever different color tone it is reading out of that image, it is converting that into a shape. So you can see all these tiny things are separate shapes formed into a group. Now this itself might be good, okay, it depends on our design, but it has a flaw. Let me show you. So you can see that, over the edges, these shapes are not overlapping with each other properly, or it is leaving some tiny gap. So which gaps which seen white over here, it's because that behind the design, behind the vector shape, our canvas is of white color. So if I change the color of canvas, for example, so you can see the same is being reflected out of the design. Now this is not good. So this is one of the drawback. Okay, if you want to convert any image to a vector design, so I don't prefer this. So let's delete this, select this, delete. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the image only, place it over here, lock it, and let's try to trace it using the pen tool or the shapes. So to create the earth, the first thing I'm going to use is the ellipse tool, and let's, holding the shift key, I can create a perfect circle. like this. All right, good enough. Now next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to change its color. So we'll go to the fills and we have color fill, and if I choose a blue color tone, which is okay, but see, it's a very single flat color which is making it looking like a 2D circle instead of a spherical planet. So I'm going to do something else. I'll go to the color fill and I'm going to choose the radial gradient color option, and I have two color tones. I'm going to change it to this one. I'm going to keep a light blue color. That one I'm going to choose a dark color. Oops, one second. If by mistake you click over here in the color bar, it adds other color tone. One second. Select radial gradient. So it's very simple. We can simply drag it out and you will have only two color tones. So we need to select this and we need to change its color to darker bluish tone like this. Also, to play with the gradient, to change the gradient style, you can extend these. So it will show you that how much concentration or how much blend of the multiple colors will be visible on the shape. So I think I'm going to keep it somewhat like this. This is good enough for me so far. Next thing which I want to do here is select this, Control C and Control V. We'll make a small copy of it and we are going to scale it down tiny bit like this. All right. And then you can see there are two ellipses. So I need to select the ellipse which is behind. Okay. The one is on the top. The one is, behind the this another ellipse. So we need to select this one, secondary ellipse, and we'll go to the fills and I'm going to change its color in a different way. What I'm going to do is for the first color tone, I'm going to choose a bit off-white color tone. So let's turn off its visibility, the top ellipse, and we'll see how the color is being placed in this ellipse. Select, fill, and for the next color tone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose completely white color. So you can see that it has a very tiny gray or off-white, whatever you want to call it, then it is going towards the complete white. So I need to select this. With this, what I want to do is, let's do one more thing. We're going to go to the canvas, and for the time being, let's fill a darker color on the canvas so that we can see what is really happening. So I'm going to select this up and select this. Yeah, so I'm bringing it very off-white visible color going towards the complete white. All right, so I'm going to select this, and on this what I want to do is I want to reduce its opacity. So basically I want to show a blend that the color is fading off. All right, so I'm going to select this up, and to reduce its opacity, what we can do is here we can see all the properties of color. So let's come out here. We have this color tone from where we can choose any color, right? We are on the white, so color tone we don't need to change. Here we have the option which shows the exact color code of the color which has been chosen. So right now for white color, this is the color code. If I change the color, you can see for this exact color tone, the color code will also changes. Let's bring it back to the white, and you can see the color code for white is this. With this, we have other things as well. So these are the channels, red, green, and blue. So values also vary here, which shows us the exact color. So variation of red, green, and blue values is a color. So at each time you will see the color code will be changing, and these values will also be varying. If I bring it back again to white, you can see that the same value is coming back again. So this is how the color code and the channels plays an important role here. So we need to focus on this channel, which is A stands for alpha. So alpha simply means that it is going to make it transparent. Right now we have the visibility of 100%, means the color will be visible to us 100%. So if I reduce it down, so see how the shape is being affected over here, and you can see the color bar that the color is starting from here, which has a full opacity going towards transparency and getting 100% transparent at the edge. So this is kind of effect I wanted for the time being. I'm going to let it be like this. I'm going to select the top ellipse and I'm going to turn off its visibility. Now this earth, we are going to, let's do one thing. Let's bring this earth on the top like this. All right. And on this, I'm going to reduce its opacity. Great. And then lock this up. Now we are going to use this reference image to create these continents. So I'm going to very quickly draw this American continent. So I'm going to choose the pen tool, and starting from here, I'm going to do, so I'm going to very quickly going to trace it like this. I'm not bothered about the accurate shape as of now. Maybe you can take more time and you can, draw the accurate shape of the continent, but more I'm focusing on just tracing a basic shape of the continent. We need to fill the earth. Earth is not completely, filled with water. It has some land on it. So I just wanted to show some land. That's it. So using the pen tool, and we'll come over here and up till here like this, then this, okay, quickly. Oops, yeah. Here you can see that the path has been broken, so no need to worry. You can undo by pressing Ctrl Z and you can click on the last node, and from there you can again begin drawing the shape. And I'm not going to, trace all these tiny islands, tiny islands. And that's it. I think this much will look good enough. So let's select it with the pointer tool. All right. Now let's change its color. So we need to fill it with the green color to make it look like a land. So let's choose the green color tone, and I think this one is looking good. We can turn off the border, so we can turn off its visibility. Perfect. Now I think there's no need of this image, so we can select and we can simply delete it, and perfect. This is how we are going to create the earth. Now let's talk about this shape. Why we have created this circle having some transparency behind the earth. So I am going to create an illusion that Earth's atmosphere. I'm going to give the look of Earth's atmosphere using this ellipse. So let's see how can we do that. So whenever you look at some images of Earth, from space, outer space, we see that, Earth sort of has a tiny glow or an effulgence because of the atmosphere. That atmosphere gives the glowing look, the fading, blurring look to Earth. So let's see how can we create that illusion over here. I'm going to select this ellipse, and onto the inspector panel, we have effects in which I have this option blur. So I'm going to plus here, I'm going to add a blur effect on this shape. And you can see that, by default, I have got the blur of 5 pixel. And if I zoom in, you can see that the shape is, the edge is not looking crisp, sharp. It is, give it a second. It is looking blur. All right. So if I zoom out and let's see. Maybe I need to give more blur to it. So from 5, let's give around 9. I think it is good enough. I think the color needs to be more white. So what I'm going to do is select the top color and make it more white. All right. So this is how Earth will look. Okay. You can increase or decrease its size depending on how big or how tiny the glow you want. For me, I want just a tiny amount of, not much. So this is good enough for me. Now, if I zoom in, you can see So this is looking blurred, but if I observe the edge of the Earth planet, this is the atmosphere, this is looking very sharp. So maybe I need to select this ellipse also, and I need to add a blur on this as well with a tiny bit of amount. So 5 pixel may be too much for this. I am going to reduce the value maybe around 2. Okay, 2 is looking good for me. So if I zoom out, it is looking perfect, and if I zoom in, still it is looking good. So this is how we can create the earth. So I'm going to select all these elements, and we all know to combine the elements we have this option of groups. So from here also we can group it, or we can use the shortcut Control G, and we can rename this as earth. So our earth is finalized for the poster design. I'm going to reduce its size a bit. Perfect. Next thing which I want to do here is that I'm going to create some animal silhouettes using the raster image. So we'll go back to File, Import, Place Image, and I'm going to choose this animal image, open it up, and here we have a bear image. Let's see how can we trace a silhouette out of it. We all know what silhouette is. Silhouettes are, images which don't have any light source in front of them, and they look like a black shape because there is no light. So I'm going to stylize this image into a colorful silhouette, okay, which might look appealing rather than a typical black color cutout shape. So what I'm going to do is, let's lock this up for first very quickly and zoom out a bit, and using the pen tool, let's trace this shape quickly. Now let's talk about the pen tool. I have explained this earlier also, but the handlebar on each node, one second, like this. So when we drag it, we control its curve, okay, how the path we want to keep. Either we want to keep it straight, or if I move the handlebar, if I increase its length, the curve also affected in the same manner. Now you can see that, with my mouse cursor, I am moving the cursor over here, and the handlebar is moving in the opposite direction on other side. All right. If we want to control that, so we need to press Alt key. What happens now, the handlebar is locked on the other side, and only this one can move. Now this really gives me an advantage to control how path should move. So if I move the handlebar along this ear edge, so the path will follow like this. Wherever I'll put the handlebar, path will follow in that direction. So if I'll put it over here like this, you see, next when I'm trying to make the path, it is coming along that direction only. So with pressing the Alt key, we can adjust the handlebar as well, its length also and its direction also. All right, and then we can really get some proper tracing using the pen tool. So again, here also I am not going to bother about the accurate shape. I am more focusing on getting that shape. So let's keep it like this. So let's trace the shape quickly. and see, with Alt key I am moving the handlebar. Perfect. And that's how I'm going to finalize the shape. And finally close it. Perfect. We have traced the shape out and selected, and let's add some color to it. So usually we know that typically silhouettes are of black color, but of course we are using a design software, so definitely we should stylize, give some style to it. So I'm going to stylize this by giving the natural color tone of the bear. So I'm going to pick up a brownish color tone, maybe like this. All right. And border color also I'm going to choose this, but it's darker tone like this. All right, now let's zoom out a bit. So I'm going to place the animal silhouette on top of Earth planet. But if we look at the poster from a further distance, I mean, we cannot really figure out that what this shape is. Okay, if it's an animal, then what animal? So I'm going to add a tiny bit of details by which we can recognize what the animal is. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, select this shape, and I'm going to reduce its opacity so that I can see the image behind. And then I'm going to take the pen tool and I'm going to add tiny bit details. So I'm going to start with the ear, and I'm going to create one shape over here like this. I really don't need outlines over this. I'm going to keep it like this. Just tiny bit of details by which we can recognize what the animal is. This is also done. All right. So after this, I'm going to add a tiny bit of details on face as well, so that, okay, it might look a bit beautiful or appealing. Okay, and we can recognize the animal also. So I'm going to first start with eyes. So over here, one over here, and let's draw its nose as well. Its mouth. And on top of these shapes, I'm going to create this nostril. And all right, let's leave this for the timing. Let's see the overall shape, what we have got, and maybe if it is required, we'll do the changes later. So you can see that we have created n number of shapes over here. So we'll go back to our base shape, and I'm going to bring its opacity back to 100%. All right. Now let's select the shape one by one, and I'm going to change their color. So this one I'm going to make a bit darker, maybe like this. The next shape I have this, so for which I'm going to choose the same color tone. Okay. Next I created the paws. For these I'm going to choose a bit lighter color tone. And I'm going to keep the same color tone for all the paws. All right. Now let's focus on face. So on face, let's select the shape one by one. Which shape is that? Okay, no. So we should begin from top over here. So this is the nostril. So for nostril, I think I'm going to keep very dark blackish color tone. For this one also same color tone. So like this. Then we have the mouth. For mouth, I'm going to choose a bit darker color tone. Select this. The nose. For nose, I'm going to, oops, this one is left. So color this one. One second. Its opacity. All right. So its opacity I need to bring back to 100%. Okay. All of the shape doesn't have 100% opacity. All right. No problem. We need to fix that. There we go. This also 100%. This, everything we need to bring to 100%. Like this. For this I'm going to choose this color tone. All right, and then last things which are left are eyes. So for eyes also, I'm going to choose a dark color tone with 100% opacity. And the one over here, let's bring its opacity to 100 and then choose the color tone same as the eye. All right, so now if I zoom out and if I look at from a further distance, okay, now maybe it is looking like a bear. All right, so that's how we can create a silhouette, and at last we can select all these shapes, and we know we need to group it, and let's call it. Now there is no need of the image, so we can simply select and delete it. So this is how we can create silhouettes